Please stand for the invocation and pledge.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight and we magnify your name for this day that you have made. We are so thankful for all that you've done for us, Lord. We thank you now for the town of White Springs and the council and the administration of this great community, and we ask that you will take us to higher heights and deeper depths, Lord, that we may be the light that sitteth on the hill. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mary Berry. Present. Nicole Williams. Here. LaRita McCallum. Present. Jacqueline Williams. Present. And Anita Rivers is present. We have a form, we will continue.
We don't have a bingo.
Any additions? That's your last outburst, the last one. You won't even get your chance.
We don't have a pickup yet. About paperwork.
Remove him.
No? I want to vote on the council. I want to vote on the council.
Any additions, deletions, and or amendments to the agenda, council? Brad, I want him out of here.
Before I leave, I would like one of these to go to each of them.
Any additions, deletions, or amendments to the council?
I have an addition. I'm sorry, I'm Martin Luther King Day. I didn't.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay, 8C will be MLK Day.
Hold on, then. Come on,
I don't know whose names I have.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't know who's who here. Okay, this one, this is right here.
Is there any other, additions, deletions, and or amendments? All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended? LaRita McCallum, make a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Jacqueline, wait a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Oh, what's your business?
Just to let the audience know and even council, if you have anything to say, please raise your hand to be recognized before speaking or doing any outbursts during the meeting. We do record, and so when you have outbursts like that, people are talked over and we can't hear the recording when she's trying to do the meeting. Citizens from the floor. Ms. Adrienne Sachse.
My name is Adrienne Sachse. I live at 16560 Jewett Street. And I, at the October meeting, asked for a land use change for the close of Wesson Road between Jewett Street and McCallum Street. And the attorney has said that we need to do an ordinance, and so I'll turn it over to him.
Okay. The charter actually requires that any change in any public property has to be reduced to ordinance. Ordinarily, the Attorney General would be fine with us just adopting a resolution and vacating one of our city streets. But because we have to jump through that hoop, if it's the pleasure of the council, I'll prepare the ordinance and we'll get it noticed for first and second readings as indicated by Ms. Adrienne. I apologize, I mispronounced your last name. Sachse?
Exactly.
Sachse, okay.
Close enough.
So if it's the pleasure of the council, I'll be happy to go ahead and prepare it. If you would.
Can I get a motion to approve, for Joel to prepare an ordinance
For the road closure.
for the road closure for Jewett Street? LaRita McCallum, make a motion to approve for there to be an ordinance for the lane closure on Jewett Street?
Wesson Street.
Wesson Street, I apologize, thank you. Can I get a second on the motion?
Jacqueline Williams, second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, that is done. Barbara Fryefield.
Barbara Fryefield, 16588 River Street. I was just looking for an update on the Planning and Zoning Committee. I understand there are 6 applications. Have you made a decision about the board or?
I think Ms. Audre just forgot to put it on the agenda tonight, so we can take care of that in the January meeting. It's no problem, I don't have the applications here with me tonight, but
We
we'll
gonna
make sure it goes on.
Like the beginning of the calendar year, so we were gonna put it on for January.
Okay, so you already.
Whoever, it's not a matter of like picking people, it's just the people who apply will be.
Yeah, they will automatically
Be on
go on,
planning and
there's no
zoning.
interview or anything.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not.
But you have to understand that we don't have a planner, so like, if you meet, I don't know who's gonna give you guidance.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, presentations, Mr. John from McCallum, Fetchit.
Good evening, council. My name is John Fetchit with Midtown Associates. You might be familiar with Mr. Kelly Lindsay. He apologized he couldn't be here tonight. He had a conflicting matter on his schedule. But Kelly and I have been working with Mr. Vaughn and Ms. George to address the dire needs of the water system throughout the town. I'm sure you all might be aware, but it hasn't had a large project in a long time. Most of its components are over 40 years old. So in our planning, what we've decided is, what we found was, would you like me to pause, Mary?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. So we decided to utilize the route of FDP's State Revolving Fund, which is a program the town also used for the sewer system projects. So what we've done is, earlier in the year, we submitted what's called a request for inclusion. And basically that goes before State Revolving Fund. They look at the projects and they have awarded the town of White Springs with the funds to do the first phase of this water systems project, and they call it, it's the planning phase. You need to put together what's called a facilities plan. So we have actually put together a loan application. It's due on December 29th. And tonight in your packets, you'll see a resolution that I would suggest that you guys pass tonight, and that way we can move this loan application forward. And then additionally, within your packets, we also have our engineering services agreement, which allows us to continue to move forward with the remainder of this project. But again, this is for the planning phase, facilities planning, which SRF, the FDP SRF requires you to go through a very specific process, and the first one is this planning phase. After we complete this facilities plan, we'll have a very comprehensive idea of what the needs are throughout the water system and how to best and most affordably take care of it for the city. The town. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to you guys.
Does anyone on the council have any questions? Does any citizens have any questions?
Can we get a packet to look at? Or a copy of what the proposal?
Yes, you can get that from Audre, that's a 119.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, I'm sorry, I think John asked me prior to the meeting tonight if we would take care of the resolution
Yeah.
today, and we'll send it off to you.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we have resolution 23-04. You wanna read it by title?
Resolution 23-04, resolution of the town of White Springs, Florida relating to the state revolving fund loan program. Making findings, authorizing the loan application, authorizing the loan agreement, establishing pledge for revenues, designating authorized representatives, providing assurances, providing for conflicts, severability, and effective date.
All right, can I get a motion to approve resolution 23-04?
Jacqueline, move to approve resolution 23-04.
Can I get a second on the motion?
Alderman McCallum, second the motion.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, resolution 23-04 is passed. Thank you, Mr. John.
Thank you.
And moving on to approval of minutes, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the November 15, 2022 town hall meeting?
Jacqueline, move to approve the minutes from the agenda, the minutes from November 2020.
Can I get a second on the motion?
I'm here to get a second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. I didn't get a vote from everyone. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, old business none. New business, Ms. Shauna for tobacco-free Hamilton.
Well, not me.
Oh, okay.
I just served the Tobacco-Free Hamilton Partnership. Them as well as the White Springs SWAT are going to be making this presentation.
Okay. Who's speaking?
Good evening, my name is Taylor Johnson. We want tobacco-free parks.
Our vision, every person in Hamilton should be free to enjoy the great outdoors and without exposure to toxic smoke and litter. Smoke is already prohibited in state parks, and thanks to the recent legislations and counties and municipalities, we can now restrict smoke and vaping in local parks and beaches.
We're here to discuss the benefits of an ordinance creating tobacco-free parks. The ordinance will protect both the kids and adults from exposure to secondhand smoke and help denormalize tobacco use, which is the leading cause of death and disease in the United States.
Wanted to give you all some statistics as to why this ordinance is important. There's really two reasons. One is, like we said, smoke-free environments for our kids. And then the second is having, we're working on ecotourism, and we have a lot of ecotourism already here. So this just keeps the litter from tobacco products out of our area. So I wanted to give you just a little more information. Secondhand smoke, in our county, every 2 years, they survey the children, the middle school kids, high school kids, and the homeschool kids, to find out how many kids are exposed to secondhand smoke. And in our county, in Hamilton County, over half the kids are exposed to secondhand smoke. So the other thing is that among our kids here in our county, ages 11 to 17, 1 in 7 vape or use some other kind of tobacco product. So when we're smoking everywhere, we're sending the message that it's cool, it's okay, and that nicotine is addicting, so it's important. Secondhand smoke exposes the kids to toxic chemicals, and like was previously said, it normalizes tobacco use among the kids. Secondhand smoke, commercial products contain chemical additives. Even the cigarettes and things that say that they're natural still have additives. And those additives actually enhance our body's ability to absorb the nicotine, which creates the addiction. And when tobacco and additives are burned together, they have toxic ingredients, including arsenic, ammonia, and hydrogen cyanide. Wax smokes. Children exposed to secondhand smoke from cigarettes have an increased risk of sudden infant death syndrome, asthma, cancer, and developmental abnormalities. Toxic smoke isn't just created by cigarettes. There was kind of a false thing in the beginning when vaping came out that it was a healthier alternative, when in fact, it's not. Research shows that vape products contain heavy metals like lead, tin, nickel, and chemicals like formaldehyde, and there's thousands of other chemicals that haven't even been identified yet. So both cigarettes and vape products contain high amounts of nicotine, which harm parts of the brain, and it harms a part of the brain that is responsible for learning and mental health. The other reason, the environment. Tobacco products are also toxic to our environment. Cigarette filters and vape products are not biodegradable. They're not going to break down. E-cigarettes have metal batteries and plastic cartridges, and then the filter in cigarettes is also made from plastic. So litter in our town hurts tourism, and there actually was a study that was done that found that where litter was minimized, people stayed longer. Where there was lots of litter, people shortened their trip and vacation, and that was done in several different states. So all of our parks, because we're talking about the parks here in White Springs, so many of them are right here on our main area, and the parks where the kids play, playground and Audre Park and all of those things. Interestingly enough, when they cleaned up the beaches and the oceans, the #1 trash item was from cigarettes. More than plastic straws, more than plastic bags, more than any of those other things. That surprised me when I learned about this in working with Shauna. And the bad thing is kids imitate us, so if they see a cigarette butt, or a vape cartridge, or however that works, because I'm not as familiar, they pick it up and they put it in their mouths. Well, there's a lot of hazards if they swallow it. If they get the vape liquid on their skin, it can be absorbed into the body. They can swallow the e-cigarettes or other tobacco products. It can cause vomiting, toxicity, convulsions, hospitalization. So it's a pretty big deal. You know, you don't think anything of it because it's become so common in our society. But when you look at those statistics in reference to our kids, it's significant. So we're asking that you pass this ordinance because it keeps our parks free of secondhand smoke and litter from cigarettes and e-cigarettes. And I know that this community, we value our kids and their health and safety. So Tobacco Free Hamilton will incur all of the expense for this. So the signage that would be put up, that would be on them. It wouldn't cost the town anything. And what they found over time is that by having these signs up, it gives everybody the opportunity to say, hey, it's a smoke-free zone. Not to mention most people are gonna go, oh, I don't need to smoke within this park, and respect that. So it just helps take the pressure off of the situation and keeping our parks tobacco-free. So help our community make a positive impact for generations to come and pass this ordinance. And on a personal note, thank you all for what you do, because it's,
Thank you, Khrys.
you're welcome.
Protecting kids today can improve public health for generations to come. The research is clear. Children are especially vulnerable to secondhand smoke, and there is no safe level of exposure. So what do we do with this information? Are we a community that values the health and safety of our kids? Your decision can help our community and can make an impact for the generations to come. Please pass our ordinance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, so we have the draft of second.
So, as luck would have it, we have, the ordinance that's gonna be necessary to close the road. I believe, the town manager needs an ordinance for the adoption of our new utility rates. This is an ordinance that we need to be adopted. That's at least 3. So we have to do 2 readings on any ordinance that is adopted pursuant to chapter 166. We can use the same advertising opportunity to advertise as many ordinances as we want, right? So my suggestion would be, the next council meeting is on the 10th. We could do first readings of all of these on the 10th. And then if you would call a special meeting for the 17th, which is the following Tuesday, we could do second readings and adoptions to get all of these done in January, if that's the pleasure of the council.
I wanna save money.
Well, it's gonna save money,
One
and
advertising.
it'll allow for, manager to get this rate approved, which we do need to get that done. So there's things that have to happen, and there's things that can happen, and we may as well wrap them all together and save the town some money. So if it's the pleasure of the council, that'd be my recommendation. I'm working on a very similar ordinance for Columbia County. This is a statewide campaign that Tobacco Free is doing. And so I'm doing those side by side, so it's gonna be easy for the town in that respect too. I already got everything staged up. So if that's the pleasure of the town, that's how I'd recommend handling this matter tonight. And then we'll do first reading on the 10th and second reading on the 17th.
I think everybody agrees with that on the council.
Yes.
Isn't the 17th Martin Luther King?
Oh goodness, if it is, you'll have to tell
The
me.
6th.
It's a Tuesday.
So it's the
Should be.
16th, Monday,
Yeah, I think that's Monday, right?
the 16th. Yeah. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Ash?
Wasn't there a lady who was trying to close the road by the water tower and by that building? Should that be wrapped in there too?
We're not gonna sell the building. That was if we were gonna sell the building.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, I thought there were 4 ordinances.
The resolution, was that what you were thinking about?
Oh, man. If it comes up, we'll follow the same schedule, but it's at least those 3. Tobacco free for road closure for the same green and the water rate ordinance.
I was saying by the street too, I thought about it, so I didn't even mention that.
Ms. George?
Yes.
Is it water and sewer or just water rate?
Both. No, it's both. Water and sewer or just water? Right.
The rates that were adjusted?
Water and sewer rate.
Water
Yeah.
and sewer. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item B under new business is Kenny Hutchinson Day approval to block a portion of Second Street. We really don't have to approve that as a council because we've already have a procedure to follow for that. And my understanding, they already have filled out the application to have it closed. And so it's just kind of, I guess, letting everyone know that there will be a Kenneth Hutchinson Day on January 2nd, 2023, on Second Street at, everyone knows the Big Red House. Yes, sir?
Is it gonna be from 20 down the front?
No, it's just gonna be right at on the side of the Red House, back to Zelda's house. So it's not gonna block anybody but
I
them.
was just curious.
Yeah, it's only gonna block them, so there's a way in for everybody else filling out. It's only right in that little section. So it won't interfere with any other residents. And that's it, they'll have bounce houses, games, they're gonna do sort of like a little carnival thing, I believe. Just in honor of Kenny Hutchinson, and for those who don't know who Kenny Hutchinson was, he worked for the town of White Springs for 35 years, I think it was. And so, they're doing that in honor of him. All right, item C, MLK Day.
I had my dates wrong, this is the 16th instead of the 17th, for whatever reason, I was thinking the 17th was on that Monday. But the Martin Luther King program will be on January 16th at 11, and the tentative location will be at the Tourism Center. And we will have a brief program and a luncheon to follow. We have 6 recipients for the Beautiful Dreamers Award, and they will be announced later.
What time?
At 11.
And so, Ms. Williams, you know there is $500 in the budget for MLK.
Yes, ma'am.
Just give us your receipts.
But don't buy anything, straight out cash, come and see Audre or something.
Whenever I need it, I'll just let
You know, it's easier for him to, when we use
You
the
know how
card.
accounting is, we gotta make sure, yeah. But it
I'm
is-
just saying, whatever I need, I'll let you all
Okay,
know,
we'll get it.
and where to get it from, and
Okay.
do it that way.
He's strict on us, like spending our money and then having to reimburse us, he'd rather us use the
Cause we gotta
town
get
card.
taxes in, cause we've been having to take stuff back to the store to try to get the taxes off and a lot of stuff.
Okay, no problem.
But yeah, we got 500 for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that it on that one? All right, Ms. George, are you gonna talk about these contracts in there?
Yeah,
We'll bring those up there when, okay, so we'll go now to departmental and administrative comments. Does the public have any comments they'd like to make or anything to say? No? All right, town manager?
You have an addendum to my contract, it was a typo on the date of the contract. I started in 20, and the typo, it should have said 21 instead of 22. So that's in that contract for the date to be changed.
Okay.
And then you have the fireman, this is Steve.
Let's do one at a time.
So,
Let's do one at a time.
for the council's edification, for the public's knowledge, so when Ms. George's original contract was signed, there was a 3% annual adjustment on October 1st of each year. It was a Scrivener's error that said 22 instead of 21. All you're doing is adopting the amendment to reflect what reality has been. With my understanding, you did get an adjustment in 21. Everybody thought that was fine, but in the process of doing the audit, they found out there was that disagreement. I went back and checked my notes. It was always negotiated and understood by the council to be 21. So it's an addendum we do a lot of times where we kind of, it's called conforming the pleadings in the litigation sense, but you're conforming that contract to what you actually did for audit purposes. Okay?
All right, so can I get a motion to approve the addendum to the town manager's employment, contract?
I Jacqueline move that we approve, we approve the addendum to said contract for town manager.
Can I get a second on the motion? I'm gonna McCallum second the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Y'all gotta speak up, y'all like y'all scared to say yes or no. Either yes or no.
You didn't look it up.
All right,
You want me to introduce Steve's contract?
Yeah, cause you don't have to agree.
I drafted it. So, our fire chief needs a contract, and what you have there is a shortened version of the contract that the town manager has with us. The important point is the amount of consideration is $25,000 per year. He is entitled to certain fringe benefits, but not FRS retirement. So if y'all know anything about FRS retirement, that makes his compensation package significantly smaller. But importantly, it sets forth that he's responsible for fulfilling the duties under the charter. So by entering this contract, y'all are checking one of your boxes for charter compliance. Okay? So that's what that reads, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
and if the audience doesn't know what FR is, that's a retirement, plan, so he's not getting that.
Basically, he's not getting a lot of, things, he just
Lot
said
of
it's
benefits.
a 25 for, his, everything that he does in this insurance, that's good.
The Florida, FRS is Florida retirement system, and most people don't realize, but for your officials who are on FRS, for every dollar you pay them, you can pay up to as much as 57% of that dollar into FRS. So public officials, and I'm one of them. They're more expensive than they look on paper. Just so everybody
We have
knows.
people on the SRS system?
Huh?
We have people on the SRS system?
Yeah, Florida general law provides for certain people to be on FRS, but Steve's able to be around, work around.
Oh, I didn't know we had, because I thought we had a different retirement system.
The town uses ICMA.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, I'm FRS.
Yeah.
Not with the town.
You wanna look at it?
I just put it.
Yeah. So far, does the council have any questions about the contract for Steve?
Not at the moment.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the contract for Mr. Steve Stith as the fire chief? Jacqueline move that we approve the contract for the fire chief as written. Can I get a second on the motion?
I very second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Pass it back.
Any opposed? All right. I get along to leave. Can't leave. All right, Vanessa, continue.
Oh. Okay. So back in October, we received word from Miss McCallum. She's a nurse and they're short staffed, so she had to be put on nights. So she missed, yep.
Yeah, get us the Audre, Nikki. Go ahead.
Okay, so she missed, a couple council meetings, and to stay in tune with the charter, she did write a letter, and, you wanna read it, Miss,
I'll read. Well,
Go ahead and read
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
I'm basically asking that you approve her letter, go ahead and read it, because she did notify the council, and she did give us her schedule going forward.
Yes. I, LaRita McCallum, to council members and the town of White Springs is requesting approval from the council members in reference to my unwarranted absences of 3 consecutive council meetings. The reason for my absences is due to the mandatory presence at my job. In the furtherance of my commitment, I plan to be in attendance to all meetings in the near future. Thank you. Respectfully, LaRita McCallum, council
Now,
member.
she did call back with her schedule, January, if I have it correct, January and April, they have on nights unless they can hire somebody else, so she will miss that one, but she did say, instead of missing, she would try to take her break at that time, come to a council meeting, she may have to leave early. So, like I said, she is a nurse, we know we have a shortage in the medical field, and I appreciate her and our other nurse on here, so, I'm asking that the council approve her, and excuse her absences.
And the charter does specifically provide that you guys can authorize those absences.
It was going
And you
for it.
can approve them, so it is necessary for you to approve them for them to be forgiven.
All right, so can I get a motion to approve the, unwarranted absences of Ms. LaRita McCallum?
Jacqueline move that we approve the unwanted absences of Ms. McCallum per her job schedule.
Nicole Williams, second the motion.
All right, is there any discussion on the motion?
I do have a question. She can't vote, right?
No.
I just wanna make sure she's legal, don't vote.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, four votes. All right.
Okay, also, on November 16th, after the council meeting, per instruction, Ms. Nicole Williams, I did speak with him today, and, he said he tried to do a class, but everybody's work schedule did conflict, so he's not doing a class, but if he ever does a class, he'll let us know, but they won't have the credentials as our paid firefighters, and that will be like $4,400 for us to send them to school.
So why on the Florida Fire College, they have a totally different price?
I don't know.
Cause when I talked to them for fire training 1 and 2, it was right at a little over $2,000. And I talked to them like that same week.
No, Oh, he's not fire chief again.
Yeah, it's like 4,400, but down there in the college too, that might just be for the class, but they
That
also
was
have
for,
this.
when I talked to them, they told me it was for the lab, for, something dealing with lab, insurance, fire one, fire two, because those classes, if it's just those classes, it was $400 and some for each one of them. But it was for the lab, insurance, and some, rental of some equipment or something.
Fire,
But it was a little over $2,000 is what they quoted me when I called.
for fire one
They-
and fire two.
For fire one and fire two.
I'll call Vaughn and verify that, but that's.
Well, I don't know, that's what they told me, that's why I had an issue with the answer that y'all had given me in the previous meeting, because it was different than what they had told me then. But if they told you something different, I know Lake City was higher than the fire college. And I didn't check with anybody else, those were the only two that I checked with. But I also know that Columbia County does training also, that, they have been willing to train people too, for at least the fire one. So, I asked a couple of people before about that when nobody else remembered that voted, but I was told I was correct with that meeting about we were sending the 4 people, because I know 2 were women, one was Andrew Storman, one was Flozell Reddick, and I didn't know the 2 ladies that was going, but I remember this was during our tenure that we voted to send them, because Lake City was only charging $500 a person to attend their class that they give in Lake City. Not at the college, but from the actual fire department. So that can be something you can check into again, because we had voted on it before.
But also, when you send somebody to school like that, you have to pay them while they're in school, if you're gonna take them, cause it's, I think it's like 240 hours, it's even more than that now. So every week, they can't drive back and forth from Ocala, so there's lodging there on the grounds. But it's kinda like, you can't hardly take somebody that's working every day and send them to school, cause it's Monday through Friday in Ocala, and they can't work, they can't work during them times.
I understand that, but then we also have people that want to volunteer, that have been expressing an interest in volunteering. So if you can get in touch with Columbia County and see when they're gonna do another class amongst themselves for their volunteers, that could be something we can get them into. And then as far as the problem where the issue was, oh, we train them and then they can go somewhere else, do like a lot of other jobs do. CNA jobs now, when they train you, you have to do a contract to be with them for so long.
Which contract is involved?
I don't know if, that's even.
But it's still something that most people who wanna do it would do it anyway and stay because they're a part of this community. So
Well, I don't
it's
know
an
if
option
it's
for
even
them.
an issue now, cause how many firefighters you have on staff?
Well, I was gonna,
You can do it on your thing.
But my other question is where are these volunteers at? Cause
There's
they're not.
one right there.
But they're not,
For the
but he
pay.
doesn't, he still has to get, didn't you have to even get your GED or something?
Yeah, I'm busy with my GED.
That's what I'm saying, so
But
he's
I'm
not
just
even,
saying, he's
but
still,
nobody's coming to the fire chief or the town hall to say that they wanna volunteer, they're not even getting an application, so I don't understand where these people
well,
are.
I'm just saying, like, first of all, he was one. He was
Okay, that's
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
but you said people.
Okay, it is a couple of people in the community, if y'all, I mean, I don't know why they won't talk to y'all, but I've had people to come to me and ask me about the fire department, about volunteering.
But you can't hire them, so
I
they
didn't
need, you
say
need
I
to send them
Ms.
here.
Rivers, I didn't say I can hire them. I said there are people who are interested in volunteering, not for a job, but to volunteer.
But they need to see the fire chief
Okay, but
or
that's-
Vanessa, can you
I
send them to
understand
them?
that. And I will
And then
let
we-
them know that, but it's just the fact that I am bringing it up that there are people who are willing to volunteer. It's just that simple.
Okay, now, also, to move on, I have you wanna be your words and trees, cause it's part of your stuff. Well, we're down to, what, one? We're down to one more. And as y'all know, we got a lot of grass. So this is a quote.
How many mowers did we have?
How many did we have, Ray? 3?
Yeah, I had 3, and then they surplus one off, and then they bought a residential mower thinking it was commercial.
Well, he said who they, clarify they.
Yeah, I'm down to 1 mower right now.
So
I've been
this
waiting on
mower,
a part 3 months.
The list total 14, but I think you can get it for 10. Explain that, Ray. So, I'm asking this over the budget, so I think it's 10,000 for the mower, right, Ray?
Right.
Tell them about, we gotta get it, cause we only have one more. Go ahead, Ray. We need.
Right, can you talk?
No town gotta have more than one.
More than one more.
Yeah, I mean, we go in the water plant, the sewer plant, all over town. I mean, you gotta have one more that's dependable. And every time I get something fixed,
Yeah,
on that Husky Barn, something else happens to it.
cause I think you're waiting on the part for that,
Taking 3 or
correct?
4 months to get parts for it.
So that's why we're down to one, we had 3, one is working, one he's waiting on a part. When did you apply for the part? I mean, when did you try to get the part, order the part?
What was it, about 3 months ago? 4 months ago?
It's been a while.
Yeah, I can't even order it online, it don't matter, I went like 4 or 5 different places, and they got it on back order. But it's a residential mower, it's not even a commercial mower. And it actually costs more than this commercial mower.
I have a question, where would that come from in the budget?
Well, I looked at the budget, so I would have to take, it's roads and streets, which we
Yeah.
have, 15 for roads and streets, but because he's gonna have to use this this mower at the sewer plant and the water plant, we can probably take a couple of dollars from here, there, and there to piece it together. I just gotta get with the accountant to make sure we can do that. But regardless, we gonna have to get a mower, or y'all gonna have, it's not grass season right now, but you're still gonna have to have a mower. We do have a little cushion in the budget where we can, and I did that on purpose, cause stuff like this does come up. So, we may have to take a little bit from the sewer plant, water plant, and like I said, roads and streets, but I will speak with Michael, because I know in the general budget, we have more funds, and I'll see where we can get these funds from. But it's like something we can't avoid.
So can I get a motion from the council to approve for the purchase of, go ahead, Ray.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, cause in summertime, 2 mowers is running wide open about every day.
Oh, yeah.
And they have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I sacrifice out of sewer plant, water plant, cause nobody really sees that, and it's just me for the guys uptown to beautify the town. And then my stuff gets out of hand, and I about need a tractor to go out there, because they're using more.
So can I get a motion from the council to approve the purchase of a new lawnmower for, public works? I heard it, I will make a motion to approve a new lawnmower for public works.
I Jacqueline second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. I know Ms. George is, gotta know where some money coming from, cause she don't let us spend it.
Yeah, I know, I talked to Mike for a little bit. So we've been looking at this all day, trying to figure out where we can get this money from before we even came, so.
All right, anything else?
Not from my department.
All right, fire chief.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to say something about the count.
I am sorry.
Okay.
Did you see that, for Kathy with the CBCD grant? Did that in there?
CDBG, it's not in our package.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you want to say something about the county contract? Because we talked about this months and
Absolutely.
months, and we've been going around.
Right, so the county was saying that they were gonna give us 40,000, correct? For basically the same services we did last year. However, they sent us a contract and they got Jennings, and they got White Springs in there. So we told them, hey, listen, we think you send us Jennings contract, or if our contract supposed to mirror Jennings, you have Jennings' name in it, this is not White Springs.
But they still have they have the same stipulations they
Correct.
had the last time, which they said they were getting rid of all of that stuff for any of the fire departments.
Right.
So that's not even changed, so they just stamped, this is here, and it's not, I went through and redlined the whole contract, and I'm like, this is not good.
So it's still in there.
It's still, yeah, it's still in there.
It's still pending, and that will bring more to the budget if they do approve it, but right now, we're just going off of what we budgeted, excuse me. So, we don't have a contract with the county as of yet. We've been meeting, so we don't have anything to present to you because they haven't given us anything presentable.
Is that the same thing that, Mr., I can't remember his name. Henry Land? No. The guy that has, what is it?
Randy?
Randy
Audre.
Yeah,
Mr.
that's the
Audre.
same thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was just making sure I understood. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, cause I went to a meeting with them that night, and that's when they said from 30, then they said 40, I'm like, that's news to me, I hadn't got the first contract when we started talking about 100,000. And it just got this one, and this one's all messed up too, so we're just trying to work with them, but what I wanna say is we still continue to hire people. You know, we have one guy now, it's firefighter 1, he's a paramedic. I've got one that I'm onboarding, which is, he's got his total fire 2, he's got his fire 1, fire 2, and he's a paramedic. And tomorrow I'm meeting 2 more firefighters, one's an EMT and one's a paramedic. And they're from the city of Lake City, so they're gonna come up here and do part-time work too, so this is the only way we can do it. And, you know, we talked about gear, and the one that I was talking about onboarding, the gear, the same gear that they got prior, I went back to them again and says, hey, give me gear like this, give me a price on it. And they had dovetailed onto another contract, but the price they gave me for this gear, for a set of gear, was $4,600. I thought, that's ridiculous. So I've gotta find a different place to get gear, to see if we can, I call it dovetail with another company that gets, because when you only buy 1 or 2 sets of gear, they're not gonna give you no big cuts on that. So I went through all the gear we have over there, because, you know, we had it all cleaned and, serviced and fixed and repaired, and, none of it would fit. So hopefully, I think the guys coming tomorrow will fit what we have, so we're trying to fit them into the gear that we have already, which saves a lot of money, because I just can't see spending $4,500 on a part-time employee. I mean, I get it, it's expensive and you need it, but I just think it'd be a lot of money to spend at one time for one person. Not trying to be cheap, but I just, you know, I figured come in maybe $2,000, $2,200 or something. I was bad wrong. We got the AED back, which I'm gonna bring the AED over here, so next month the AED will be up in here and wait for the cabinet, so it's properly, shown, and I'm gonna try to get the one guy that I've got, to give us a little CPR class on, not a little CPR, but just on that. I can do it, just so you know how to operate it, because we do have a lot of people come here, and this is where one place it needs to be all times. So whether I'm here, EMS is not here, it's here. That's the biggest thing, is to get it going. I will also check on firefighter 1, firefighter 2. I'll bring a detailed price list of what it costs from Ocala, and Henry Land. We already know, he said it's $4,400, but I will talk to Chief Crawford in Columbia County, see what they say, and I can have that for you next month, the 10th, when we come to that.
And hopefully we'll have something from the county as well.
That's it?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing else from you, Ray?
How many fire do you have this far? You said
Well, it'll be 4. I mean,
4, okay.
hopefully 4. These other 2 guys, they definitely want a good part-time job. So I know them, and the other one, it's just a matter of, gotta find some gear. Hopefully, so we could have 3 as of tomorrow.
Okay.
Did, Chief Stith, did, Dowdy ever get released yet, or he's still on medical?
Dowdy probably will never get released.
Oh, was that bad?
I've kept in contact with him, so, yeah. That was one of the ones I was hoping to,
Right,
not
because he's
of these
certified
other
in
ones.
3 areas.
Not of, you know, this group I've got, but I'm like, because I've been trying to keep track of him, so.
Right, because he would have definitely been an asset.
Anything else from you, Ray, utilities?
I don't have anything else. I would like to commend the council and town on a great Christmas parade, one of the best. I've heard a lot of good compliments on that. Like you said, tell y'all thank you. And the town manager.
No, y'all worked hard too, right?
Yeah.
You guys got it.
Yeah, you guys had to clean up everything, get it right and pretty.
They said they was still picking up candy yesterday.
Yeah, I heard some of the kids, some of the parents say that the kids got tired of picking up candy. They wouldn't even pick up any more candy. They were getting out. And they had their bags like they were at trick or treat. They had them ready. But yeah, it was a great parade. We had a good time. And we did, serve chili and we got rid of all of it.
Yeah.
So, we got a lot of compliments on the chili.
I would like to thank, Miss Jacqueline Williams and Miss Cynethia Williams for donating chili.
Delicious.
Yes.
And then somebody else made chili.
My aunt made a pie,
Oh, yeah,
and
Miss-
then
Miss-
Carol and Miss Winnie and
Yes, and Miss Thompson, and Miss Brady.
All right, so is that it? The council have anything to say? Any comments? Any announcements?
I got one. First of all, I want to thank everybody that did help with the Breakfast with Santa. The Swanee Bicycle Association was wonderful. They made sure I had enough gifts for at least 75 to 80 kids to get at least 2 gifts. That's more than we've done in the past. This is more kids than we've done in the past. But the different people out in the community, they have been great, wonderful with the donations and volunteering their time to come help.
So y'all already had it?
No, it's Saturday.
Oh, okay.
No, it's Saturday at 10:30 at Nellie Blythe's Kitchen. So if anybody wants to volunteer, we still need cooks. I'm looking forward to it, the kids are looking forward to it, and it will be a wonderful event. We have our Santa, we have our Grinch, we will be taking pictures and making ornaments also. So it's kind of like the traditional, but it's got a little twist to it too.
Any other announcements? Meeting adjourned, 7:22 p.m.